It's Wednesday, April 17th. In the wake of income tax officials seizing over 15 crore rupees cash from the house of a DMK functionary in Vellore district, the Election Commission has ordered that polling in the Vellore parliamentary seat in Tamil Nadu, scheduled for Thursday, be cancelled. This is not the first time that elections to certain seats in the state have been cancelled over suspicion of use of money to influence voters. In April 2016, the poll body had postponed elections in Aravakurichi and Tanjavur during assembly elections after cash amounting to crores was recovered from sites allegedly belonging to people close to ADMK functionaries. In excess of 100 crore rupees was seized by election expenditure monitoring officials in Tamil Nadu during the 2016 assembly elections. The Economic Times, reporting on how pervasive the act of directly bribing the voter is, quoted an expert as saying, "A back of the envelope calculation shows a party looking to win a single assembly seat will have to shell out 12 crore rupees. And if it is a parliamentary election, the party will have to spend 60 crore rupees to win a single constituency." Such is the influence of money in elections in the state that there is a term to describe the art and calculations of bribing the voter called the Thirumangalam formula, named so after the January 2009 by-election in Thirumangalam in Madurai district. It is alleged that the late DMK patriarch Karunanidhi's son M.K. Aragiri devised a manner of getting money to voters using local carriers, effectively avoiding Election Commission scrutiny. The Thirumangalam formula even found mention in a cable sent by the US Embassy to the State Department in 2009. The US Embassy cable, accessed by the Hindu through WikiLeaks, quoted a close aide of former Union Minister M.K. Aragiri as saying, "It is no secret at all. Aragiri paid 5,000 rupees per voter in Thirumangalam." Rather than using the traditional practice of handing cash to voters in the middle of the night, in Thirumangalam, the DMK distributed money to every person on the voting roll in envelopes inserted into morning newspapers. In addition to the money, the envelopes contained the DMK voting slip, which instructed the recipient for whom they should vote. This, the cable noted, forced everyone to receive the bribe. Needless to say, these charges of directly bribing the voter have been levelled against other parties in the state as well.
जब मुसलमान आता है काम के लिए, फिर मैं सोचती हूँ कि नहीं रहने दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? आखिर नौकरी सौदेबाजी भी तो होती है, बात सही है कि नहीं?
Is it practically possible for Union Minister Maneka Gandhi to come good on her barely veiled threats to voters in Sultanpur and Pilibhit that once elected she will ensure that only those who voted for her and her son get priority access to development work? Your vote, after all, is secret. Well, in theory, yes. Indians are guaranteed a secret ballot by the Representation of People Act 1951, but not so in practice since EVMs were introduced. Ishita Trivedi, an independent policy consultant who has worked extensively with electoral data, explains that back when paper ballots were used, the Conduct of Election Rules 1961 required votes from various booths to be mixed in drums before being counted. This ensured that ballots from a small polling area, street, colony, village, were anonymized. Since 2009, when electronic voting machines started being used nationwide, Form 20 data, or polling booth voting data, is made publicly available by the Election Commission. The granularity of Form 20 data, which gives the number of votes received by all candidates down to each EVM used, and its implications for privacy and the free exercise of a voter's franchise, are troubling. Ordinarily, an EVM is allotted per 1,000 to 1,500 voters, but records an average of 200 to 600 votes. This means even electors living in densely populated areas would be wrong to assume their votes are safe from being similarly scrutinized by political parties. Then there are electoral rolls which reveal the name, address, age and gender of every voter and the booth where they're registered. Political parties invest huge resources in digitizing this data to deduce the caste and religious makeup of every locality. The waters get muddied when parties read electoral rolls with EVM data to find out which neighborhoods or communities voted for or against them. The backlash may not be limited to violence and intimidation, but as Gandhi threatened, it may even affect people's access to public services and welfare schemes. Aware of the dangers of Form 20 data, the Election Commission has since 2008 been asking for totalizer machines to count votes. The totalizer adds together votes from 14 EVMs so that booth-level data is not recorded and aggregate data alone is made available. This is called cluster counting. But the centre opposed this. The government informed the court that a team of ministers headed by the Union Home Minister had taken a view that revelation of booth-wise votes is beneficial for candidates. The court was hearing a PIL seeking stoppage of ward-wise counting of votes on the ground that declaration of results of every polling booth strikes at the root of the right to privacy attached to voting. It would be remiss not to point out here that only last week the centre told the Supreme Court during a hearing on electoral bonds that corporate donors should have a right to privacy and that voters don't need to know who funds political parties. A massive fire in the Notre-Dame Cathedral, one of France's oldest symbols, on Monday evening led to the collapse of a part of the 856-year-old medieval structure. The fire that began around 6:30 in the evening on Monday burned through the roof of the cathedral before toppling the spire, a dramatic moment that hundreds of Parisians watched in shock. A huge response operation was kicked in. Over 400 firefighters rushed to the spot. The cathedral's main structure, including bell towers, was saved. An investigation into the cause of the fire is underway. Officials told the BBC the fire could be linked to ongoing renovation work. A masterpiece of Gothic architecture, the cathedral stood tall through 2 world wars and received over 13 million visitors each year, more than the Eiffel Tower. The last time the cathedral suffered major damage was during the French Revolution. Apart from its spires, buttresses, stained glass windows, and magnificent carvings, the medieval cathedral holds invaluable art and was the inspiration for French literary masterpiece Victor Hugo's Hunchback of Notre Dame. And with that, it's a wrap. See you here tomorrow. Love your morning fix? Help support our journalism. Subscribe to Scroll Plus using the link in the description.